Hello everyone, this is Trigger Airsoft. We're glad to be the primary sponsor for this year's Last Stand event, being hosted in May 19th, which is exactly 30 days from the filming of this video. This event is being hosted by TES, which consists of some of our staff and also our affiliates, and we're glad to bring this new event, some new gameplay experiences to the Airsoft community here. This event is going to be 3 days long and it will be multi-tiered in terms of the experience, so we'll have something for everyone. For this video today, we're just going to go through some Q&A questions and just to answer things that you guys have been asking, just to kind of clarify. That being said, we will get right into the video and we'll start with the first question. First one will be eye protection. Does my eye pro need to be rated? Where can I find the ratings? Can I wear ballistic shooting glasses? Is something that you guys have actually been asking, and we will answer that right now. So first and foremost, yes, your eye pro needs to be rated. This is not only for your safety, but also for insurance. Just in case something goes wrong, we want to cover all of our bases. So in terms of your eyewear, you can find your ratings usually on the frame of the eyewear, on the side of the lenses, or if you have any sort of manufacturer specifications in terms of the user manual, or usually on the box, you can typically find your ratings there. As long as it's rated, or as long as we see that there is a rating, then you're good to go. Depending on the models, here typically, you have your paintball mask, your Dye 4s, Dye 5s, or your Vulcan goggles that we kindly sell. Those ones are all good to go. So if you own any of those, which I assume most of you guys do, you're good to go. In terms of ballistic glasses, so those are your M frames and your revisions or anything similar to that, yes, you can use those, but you have to make sure that you have a full seal kit, so it typically looks like 2 big O-rings inside, and also you have a back strap that can attach to the back of your head. With those additions added on, then it basically acts as goggles. But the most important is you must have the back strap. This is just in case if you're leaning forward or doing something and the goggles tend to slip down or your glasses tend to slip down. We just want to ensure that it stays on your head. So if you have those on, you can gladly use those. We are aware that some people are looking to use their night vision and they prefer ballistic glasses. So as long as you have these additions on there, you can use them. So on to the second question, which is your uniforms and also the patches. So for this year, we have patches and we'll also be providing armbands for you. So just to give you guys a sneak peek. So we have these new patches that we'll be giving out. They're nice PVC patches. So these patches will act as your game tickets. So once you do the sign-in, you'll be given one of these patches along with 2 of the armbands in the same color. In terms of patches, when you are playing the game, you have to have your patches on you displayed on your person. So for example, if I have like a Velcro, I'll stick it on, and also you'll have your armbands around just to make sure that you're clearly identified to not only your team, but also for your enemies, just to make sure that everyone knows who's on which side. When you're not playing the game, your patches do not have to be displayed, but they must be on your person. If one of the admins are going around looking and checking, if you're on the field and you don't have one of these on you, let's say you forgot this in your room or anything, we will kindly ask that you go get your patches just to ensure that we know that you paid and that we know that you're here to participate in the event. So again, do not lose those and just have these on you. Hello everyone, so we're just gonna show you guys a quick demonstration of how the patches and armbands work. So for the patches, right now I have on my plate carrier, but the patch itself can go anywhere. Arms, helmet, on the back of your plate carrier, anywhere. Armbands, as in the name applies, go on your arms only, and they have to be on your arms. So I have one right here on my left arm right now, and I'll show you really quickly. For these armbands, they're really simple to use. If you unfold them, you'll see that there is Velcro and also this kind of elastic band piece. This elastic band piece is actually a retaining band. So the way it works is you will open this up, stick your arm through. So So this band is to ensure that in the event that the Velcro somehow falls off, that the band is still retained onto you, or if you have skinnier arms and you're having difficulties with standard Velcro, this also helps retain it as well. So you basically put it at your desired height on the arms like so. You have a female Velcro piece, basically wrap this around you, and then it just Velcros on, and then it's on. So again, armbands go on both sides. This is to ensure that you have good identification, both front and back, and the patches just anywhere you want to put it. But again, that's just a very quick demonstration of how the patches and armband systems work. So in terms of armbands, again, to your respective colors, you'll be issued 2 of them. If you're wearing rain gear, heavy jackets, or if your clothing does not have Velcro, these will help you in terms of the identification. It'll go on both sides. For rain gear, your ponchos, they count as gear, not part of the uniform requirement. So it does not have to follow the same uniform color. It can be any sort of color. We just ask that if you are wearing rain gear, you put the armbands around so we know which side you're on. We also have another kind of tip. If we have tape, such as duct tape or any vinyl tape, you can always use those tapes to go on your ponchos or other rain gear. We'll put a photo of one of the ponchos that we did, just to give you guys an idea of something that you can do in terms of identification. So what happens in the event that it rains? Well, right now I have a poncho on me. Obviously there's different types of ponchos. If you have a poncho that has actual sleeves, obviously the armband, again, both arms will be sufficient. For example, for this poncho though, I do not have sleeves. It's just a coverall over my regular kit. One of the ways that we found was really easy for identification is you can use any sort of duct tape or vinyl tape. We recommend getting a high quality one. This one in particular is a 3M one, just because the higher quality ones are usually a little bit more waterproof, water resistant, and they can stay on, especially if it rains. But what you do is you basically cut big strips and you basically just tape on your poncho like so. Make sure when you do tape it on that it's a really big strip and it actually contours to your arms, because if I rotate to my back or to my front, you'll have enough space that people can see both in the front and the rear. So again, the tape will not be provided, so you'll have to kind of pre-make it yourself. But that is also another way that you can do your identification if you're wearing any sort of waterproof gear or just gear that you don't have Velcro on there. So in terms of the armbands, you'll be issued 2 armbands and 1 of the patches. For the patches, they can go anywhere. You can put it on the side, you can put it on the front, you can put it on your back, you can put it on your helmet if you like to. So the patches can go anywhere on your body as long as they're displayed. For the armbands, you'll be issued 2 of them. They must both be on the arms and they must both be on. You cannot have just one on you. You have to have both. This is to ensure that you have good identification no matter your orientation. For the armbands, again, do not put them on the head. Do not put them anywhere else. Arms only, just to make sure that everyone knows which side you're on. Reduces any chance of miscommunication, misidentification. So moving on to the third question. So this will be regarding FPS, BBs, and just overall gun requirements. So pistols and SMGs, for both of these types of guns, there is no minimum engagement. So you can shoot your targets within any distance. BB weights only up to 2.25, and also for these 2 categories of guns, no CO2 allowed. The primary reason for this is some of these guns, especially the pistols, some models you can run green gas and CO2 just by switching out the magazines without any sort of modifications to the actual gun itself. Because there's no minimum engagement, we want to make sure that if you're shooting within these distances, that the FPS is safe, and also, on the receiving end, you don't want to get hit by something that's hot, because it's going to hurt, and we want to, reduce the risk of any excess injury. So for these 2 guns, unfortunately, no CO2. Green gas only, or for SMGs, you shorten the spring, or if they're gas guns, you just buy like a CQB bolt. Rifles, LMGs, and DMRs and snipers, the new minimum engagement went from 40 to 50 feet. So it's 50 feet now. If you're using a rifle, so that's anything up to 400 FPS, you are allowed to shoot within 50 feet, but on semi-auto only. LMGs, DMRs, and snipers, you must have a sidearm on you. The sidearm can be a pistol or SMG, make sure it qualifies within the FPS requirements. But if you're shooting within the 50 feet, you must switch over to a secondary. Again, if you're running DMR, sniper, or LMGs. For launchers, so your 40 mics, your 6-barrel MGLs, market standard munitions only, so no custom shells. What does it mean to be market commercial standard? It means your normal off-the-shelf, like 40mm shells manufactured by any sort of name manufacturer. So like the ASG 40 mics or any sort of officially made commercial products. So no custom shells, you can't make your own pyros, no explosives, none of the other crazy stuff. You can use a base commercial shell as a propelling charge. So for example, if you have like a regular open top 40 mic and you put like a smoke grenade in the front, again, commercial smoke grenade, you can shoot that out, but you can't take that and custom CNC or modify your own shells. It's unsafe, we don't know what the specs are, we don't want anyone to get hurt. So on to number 4. This applies specifically to LMGs. Can I use a box mag? What qualifies as an LMG? So in our rule set, an LMG has to be based off a real life counterpart or a variant of the primary family of that counterpart. So what this means is if the original platform is an LMG, even though it can only be fed by standard mag, so for example your RPKs, it still would classify as an LMG, as it was the real world intended use. Automatic rifles, such as M27 IRs, unfortunately they're not counted as LMGs, so they'll just be under standard rifles. Some main examples of LMGs are your 249s, your mini-me's, your saws, 240s, MG42s, M1919s, M60s, the Stoner 63 LMG variant, RPKs, RPDs, LCK16s, or like the AR MCR with the, so for example, the G&G LMG with the AR lower but LMG upper, those are still counted as LMGs because they run off a box feed. For LMGs, you must have a bipod on you and you must use drum mags only. Unless your gun is like an RPK and it uses a long mag or the standard mag, those are fine. But if your gun can run box mags, you have to use box mags. This is to ensure that it's clear identification. So if I look at someone that has a bipod and I see a box on it, I know I'm being engaged by LMG. We also don't want to make sure that there's some gray area like, oh, I don't know what I got hit by. I think he's shooting really hot. If I can see that there's a bipod and it's this big gun with a big box mag, I know I'm being engaged by LMG. So I know that it's for him to shoot me at a particular distance or a particular rate of fire. I know that it's fair because he's running an LMG. It's just for clear identification. So on to question 5, kind of related. So why are guns classified into this manner, and also why did we choose the FPS for these types of guns? The primary reason is this is to ensure that every type of gun has their own place and their unique play style. Also for a little bit of game balance. That's why the FPS requirement is set as is. For example, pistols and SMGs are geared towards CQB or light mobility or just close range stuff. So that's why the FPS is lower, but in turn, you get no minimum engagement. So if you see a target close range, you can start shooting without having to worry about the minimum engagement distance. Rifles, your standard mid-range kind of stuff. For LMGs, we increased the FPS from 400 to 440. However, we reduced the BB weight from 3.2s down to 2.8s for maximum BB weight. This is the biggest change in terms of the FPS, and why we did this is to ensure that LMGs are an air suppression weapon. We want to give more range than your standard rifles because it's an LMG. You want to suppress the enemy. but we also don't want you to allow you to use heavyweights, because then you'll be too accurate. Then it'll just act as if you had a DMR with a box mag, and it will make DMR users kind of redundant. So that's why we lowered the weight. You'll get a little bit more spread, but you'll still have more reach than the standard rifle. And then for DMR players, it remains unchanged. You're allowed to use heavier weights than LMGs, so you'll have not only the distance of LMG, but also the accuracy, because that's what DMRs are for. That's the reason for the FPS change for LMGs. So moving on, question number 6, for gas mask, can I bring a gas mask? Yes, you can bring gas masks. Ensure that the lenses are rated. So none of the Amazon cheap gas masks with no ratings, none of those. If you're going to bring a gas mask, as long as the lens is rated, you're good to go. We had questions from you guys on the, for example, the Avion C50s with the removable lenses. As long as you're using ballistic lenses and they're rated, you're good to go. For the gas mask itself, unfortunately, it doesn't serve any function. You can wear it for the looks, perfectly fine, but we will have special events such as like a chemical attack or like a gas attack. Unfortunately, even if you're wearing a gas mask, you're not immune to it. So if, for example, the special event's going on and there's a gas coverage, you still have to evacuate the area, or you'll just be considered as a wounded or dead player. So gas mask doesn't have any sort of gameplay function. Question number 7, in terms of camping and also rooms. Unfortunately for the filming of this video, all of our hotel rooms and chalet rooms are sold out. Sometimes we might get last minute cancellations and the rooms might go up on our website, but don't get your hopes up on it, because sometimes it doesn't happen. Again, don't go on third-party travel sites. We did book both the Spruce Hill Resort and the 108 Golf Resort specifically for this event, for the whole resort. So if you try to go through third-party bookings, you're probably not going to get anything, and we do not recommend that. This is just to ensure that the people that bought the tickets are active participants and we know who's going in and out, because with the nature of our sport, it's kind of sensitive. But camping is included in the price of admission. So if you're camping or if you're planning to camp, when you buy a game ticket, it's already included in the price. You don't have to pay anything extra. The spots, the camping spots will be first come, first serve basis. So obviously try to show up early, try to get through the sign-in process, and then we will assign you a spot, but there should be plenty of spots available for those who are camping. Portable washrooms will be provided for campers. However, if you're camping, you do not have access to showers or other of the resort amenities, because those are for people who bought the hotel rooms or the chalet. So unfortunately, if you're trying to use the gym or the pool, you have to be a purchaser of one of the hotel rooms or the chalet rooms in order to use those. In terms of those bringing in RVs or campers, we currently still have the opening for them. If you are looking to bring your RV or camping vehicles, do send us an email or fill us a contact form to let us know just the rough size of your vehicle. So we need to know the length, the dimensions, and also if it can expand, just to allow us to see and gauge how much space we need to allocate for you guys. Again, first come, first serve basis. Right now we still have a few submissions in, so I think we can still accommodate a few more, but if you're looking to bring your camper vehicles, let us know the size and dimensions and we'll contact you in terms of the spot. For camping vehicles and also campers in tents, there's no service, so you have to bring your own water, bring your own food. There's no power or anything, so just keep that in mind. There will be a food booth offered at the campground area starting from the Friday, which is the first day of the event, all the way throughout to the Sunday. So you can go out to the food booth to purchase food regardless if you're camping or part of the resort. It's open to everyone. If you want to buy some food over there, some good food, there's a food booth available. On the last day of the event, once the event is finished on the Sunday, after the prize draw, we do know that there's some players that might still stick around for the last day or just an extra day just to kind of recuperate. As a thank you to you guys, our Airsoft community, we are offering 100 free meals for anyone. So regardless of your ticket purchase status or room purchase status. It's just 100 free meals, first come first serve basis. It's once the 100 meals are gone, that's it. But that's just a thank you to those who are staying on the Sunday and possibly going home on the Monday, that's just staying overnight, just as a thank you to you guys in terms of participating in our event. So the last thing, question number 8, we had some questions regarding the market/admin area. We will go more in depth into it when we film our successive videos in terms of going into the gameplay. But for this one, we'll let you guys know just kind of an introduction of what the market or admin area is for. So at the center of the map, in between both sides, there's going to be an area called the market. This market also doubles as multiple functions. The secondary function is as an admin area. So in this market area, the general admins will be there, and also the base commanders for both teams will also be there. It's going to be this built out space that looks kind of like a mini city and tent area. Admins and the base commanders will be in this location at all times. The base commanders will also be monitoring and counting the points as the event that goes on. So the squad leaders and you guys players that are actively participating in capturing the flag points and doing other side objectives, you don't have to keep track of the points. The base commanders will do that for you, so you can just go in there and have a good time. If you need to find an admin, head over to the market. The market also acts as a rest area as well. So if you need to find an admin, if you need some rest, if you have a minor injury, if you're unsure where to go, let's say Saturday morning you woke up a little bit late, you're not sure what is happening, you can head over to the market area. Essentially, if you have any sort of questions, whether game related or administrative related, head over to the market. We'll have admins there, or your teammates there, or the game commanders there to help you out. We'll also have portable washrooms here as well. So if you just want to rest and use the washrooms, you can totally go there instead of going all the way back to your resort. However, the market area is a no engagement zone. It's also a no respawn zone. So you can come over here and rest, but if you're hit and you need a respawn, unfortunately you have to go back to your nearest capture flag point. Your iPro also needs to stay on because again, it's within the game area, but you can leave your guns, you can just kind of take a break, take a sip of water, eat some snacks if you just want to rest. Part of the gameplay aspect is handing in water bottles, or if you capture the enemy team's banner, you can also bring it to the market, because this is where you'll bring it to collect points. Empty water bottles will count as 1 point, it'll go to your team, and also if you captured the enemy's banner, you can also bring it to the market. The market is multi-layered, so there will be an outside no engagement boundary before you enter the actual market itself. So if you are just resting, once you cross the no fire boundary, then people can't shoot at you, and then once you bring it to the market, then you're in the safe zone. Same thing as if you're bringing any sort of objectives, the water bottles or the enemy team banner. Once you cross the no fire zone, then you're considered within the market safe area, and other people cannot engage you. If other people do engage you, there will be gameplay penalties, so do keep that in mind. The market itself cannot be attacked or occupied at any time other than a special event. So we have a special event planned. During those times, we'll announce it to both teams that the market can be considered a capturable objective, but only within these 2 times, and both teams will get that notification. Other than this special event timing, the market is a non-playable area, it's a non-capture zone, it's a non-attackable zone. But we'll go more in depth. So we also had some questions regarding flashlights, lasers, and also how the night mode will work. So we're going to cover that in this short clip here. In terms of the night mode, it's going to happen on Friday, so in the evening at 7 p.m. and also Saturday. So the games will be split between a daytime and evening time. Even though there will still be light out there, everyone should be prepared to go into playing like a night type of game mode. On Saturday, we'll have a little bit short break for dinner time, so it'll also give you guys time to prepare your equipment. In terms of night play and also flashlights. So first thing, flashlights are required. They are primarily a safety equipment. So for example, we have some flashlights here, handheld ones. We recommend having more than one light source, so you can have a handheld, or you can have one mounted on your gun. This is primarily for safety, just in case if you need to illuminate something, either for identification, if you're lost, if you need to signal something for help, or if you're just looking at something that doesn't look right in the terrain, or just general use. We want to make sure that you have a light, that everyone has one, just to see, so they can see at night. The second part to the flashlight is actually when it comes to engagements. So for this event, for night engagements, you have to have either a flashlight on or a tracer on your gun. The way engagements will work, when you see a target, if you're using a flashlight, you illuminate the target, shoot, and then turn the light off. If you have a tracer on your gun, you do not need to illuminate the flashlight. You can just shoot with the tracer, but it's also recommended to have a light on your gun. Why this rule is in place for night engagements is that it both serves as a safety thing, so you can illuminate the target, see what you're engaging at, and also for a gameplay perspective, when you turn on your tracer or light, for the enemy, they can have a chance to kind of, I guess, return fire. Just like how in real life, if you were to open fire, you will have like a muzzle flash or some sort of signature. Basically, you'll lose your concealment, and then the enemy can engage, just to make the game a little bit more fair and just fun for everyone else. When it comes to mounting it on your gun, if you have two guns, so a primary and let's say a secondary, it's recommended that you have that light on your primary. The secondary does not have to have a light on there. However, if you're going to use your secondary to engage, you will still need to illuminate either with a tracer or a light. So for example, we have a pistol with a light on there. If your pistol doesn't have a light, you can use like a handheld. But for your primary, you must have the light mounted on. Doesn't matter how you mount it. You can use your standard rails. If you have Picatinny rails, M-lock rails. If you don't have any rails, old-fashioned duct tape, just tape it. We don't care how you mount it on, as long as it's on the gun. If you're only using one gun, let's say for example a rifle, pistol only, or a SMG, that gun has to have a light or a tracer mounted on there. Regardless of which one you use for an engagement, you still have to have a light. Now on to tracers itself. Any sort of tracer unit will work. It doesn't have to have muzzle flash. It can just be a standard tracer module. You can only use tracer BBs only. The whole magazine has to be filled with tracers, no salt and pepper, which means you cannot mix tracer BBs with standard BBs and then tracer BBs again. The whole magazine has to be with tracers. Last thing, we have lasers. So your PEC modules or individual laser sets. If you're using a visible laser, do not illuminate it to illuminate the target with it. It's only for kind of just pointing in the general direction or signaling use. You're not allowed to use it to aim. Although these modules are low powered, typically civilian grade lasers are class 3, so they're safe, they're eye safe, just to reduce the chance of it having any sort of potential harm. We are not allowing you to use visible lasers to aim with. Obviously, it's most likely not going to cause any sort of damage unless you somehow decide to stare in the laser for like more than 2 or 3 minutes. Don't do that. But just to reduce the risk, visible lasers are for signaling or just general pointing use only. 2-second activation and then off. For IR lasers, they are much lower power. There's no restrictions on that use if you're using IR laser. Just make sure you are aware of what setting your laser is on, so you don't actually shoot out a vis laser instead of the IR mode. But that's it, just a short kind of overview in terms of the questions regarding flashlight, tracers, and lasers for this event. So another equipment that's required for this event are radios. Similar to the flashlights, they're primarily a safety equipment. We want to make sure that all players have some sort of communications to the admins, just in case they have any questions or if something comes up. like a medical emergency or anything that needs to be reported. They're also used for the gameplay. Orders and instructions will be passed down through the radios as well, so that's why everyone should have a radio on you. In terms of the radios, anything works. Your basic like Motorola Talkabout or walkie-talkie is totally fine. If you want to invest a little bit more, you can get the programming radios, the amateur ones, the 5-watt that you can program, or if you want to be really, really fancy, you can get like the higher end like DMR radios. For these two programmable radios, just make sure some areas you might need some sort of amateur radio license. Just make sure that you're complying with those rules. But if you want to invest, you can do the higher end programmable radios. In terms of the radio frequency, they're going to be based off the FRS, so that's the family radio service. So it's going to be your standard 1 to 22 channel. So any of the programmable radios will be able to work with the Motorola or walkie-talkie channels. So that's why if you have just the base model walkie-talkie, you're perfectly good to go. From our testing in terms of the range, your base walkie-talkie will reach about halfway across the field. The 5-watt programmable radios, probably a little bit more than half, and the DMR radios basically will reach from one end of the field all the way to the other end of the field. This is also the reason why the market or admin area is located in the center, because when we send out the radio signals, you should be able to receive it regardless of where you are. Worst case, we'll just relay it through our admin teams and also our command teams as well. We do sell both of these, the Motorola Talkabout radios, in a pack of 2. They can also be connected to your phone, and you can actually use it with a map, so it's kind of pretty cool. It's, in terms of our opinion, it's the best value if you're just looking to get started. We also sell the 5-watt programmable radios as well, so these two we carry. Obviously, if you're making your own purchases, just be aware you might have to do your own programming. We will release the radio frequency channels out soon. For the radio frequencies that we're using for the command team, it'll go out to your squad leaders and also your 2 ICs in terms of the channel that we'll use. For your squad channel, so it's the channel that you use within your squad, you can use whatever channel you guys want to use. There's no restrictions on that. So just a very quick overview in terms of the radio equipment for this event. So one of the big safety equipments is going to be your barrel cover and also a kill rag or a dead rag. For barrel covers, mandatory. If you're going into any of the safe area, you must have a barrel cover on your primary. For pistols, remove the magazine and then either put in your holster and leave in your holster. You can put in a bag or anywhere that's not, you're not holding on to it. So you don't need a barrel cover for that. For rifles, right, clear your rifle first, remove the magazine, right, shoot out a couple rounds on the ground, make sure that it's clear, and then barrel cover on the muzzle of the gun. What's unique is we do sell our own trigger airsoft barrel cover and also a kill rag. So on the outside it looks like your standard barrel cover, but on the inside you also have a kill rag. If you have your own kill rag or any sort of orange or bright red rag, you can use it as well. But if you don't have one and you're looking for something that's dual purpose, we do sell this in store as well. So for example, in the day, if you're hit, raise your hand up immediately, signal the other person you're hit, and you can get your dead rag out. This is designed with a much smaller bungee cord. So for example, in the day, you can put this on your arm, tap the bungee cord, and you basically have the rag hanging out. You can put it on your vest, plate carrier, you can put it on your head, anywhere that is easily visible. At night, if you have a red light on your helmet or on your shoulder or anything, you can turn it on to signal as a kill rag feature. If you don't have any, we will now teach you a trick that you can do. So with our barrel covers, you can put it over your weapon light or any sort of handheld light. Put it over. I'm going to tighten down the bungee cord. And then with the lights off, when you press down your flashlight, it should illuminate. So just to demonstrate, we're going to turn off the lights and we'll show you what that looks like. So like that, you have a red light there so everyone knows that you're dead at night. So if you don't have a red light, you can use this feature. Yeah, so that's a really quick overview in terms of the barrel cover and the kill undead reg. But otherwise, that's it. This is just our first video just to answer some of the questions that you guys put in. We'll have more videos down the road that will go into more in-depth of the gameplay mechanics that we have planned, which is very, very exciting for us to announce. And also, if we do have more questions, if you guys have more questions, feel free to let us know either in the comment section on our Facebook or on our Last Stand event website. Just fill in the contact form. But for any sort of gameplay or game-related questions, you can follow us at the Last Stand Info Facebook group, or you can just go on to laststandevent.com. All the information will be posted on both websites. You can go take a look at the time schedule, the rule book, and all the other associated information. But again, if you see something that you have a question that's not on there, feel free to let us know. But that's about it for today. We'll see you next time in our upcoming videos once we start getting into the gameplay ideas. And that's it. I'm William, and we're again glad to announce this Last Day event for you guys for this year, and we'll see you in the next video.